Hello friends, welcome back to my channel IAS Commando, and in this video we are going to discuss what is the nature of GS mains GS paper 2, what is the book list for it, what is the source of preparation, and how we can study this paper. So at the outset, if we discuss about this paper is generally low scoring in the sense that marks that are given in other GS paper are usually higher than this paper, and also people who are not from the humanities background tend to score less in this paper. So if you compare GS paper 2 and GS paper 3, so people who are not from the humanities background but are working consistently, they are able to easily ace the GS paper 3. But the same is not true for GS paper 2. So what is there in GS paper 2 that requires so much, that is so much mysterious that the marks are not coming in this paper? So first of all, I would like to say that the language of this paper is little bit difficult in the sense that it is related to polity and the constitution, and multiple readings have to be given to absorb the subjects. And also the issues that are there in this paper, for example, the social justice issue, the poverty, and these kinds of issues. So not only the current affairs related to these issues, but also the basic theory of these issues are important. Now the problem is that a particular book, a good book, is not available in which everything is given in a summarized format. So tackling this papers becomes difficult because the resources are uh, scattered everywhere, and also the paper which is related to current affairs is also difficult to tackle because every year the syllabus tend to change. So every day your syllabus is increased by one newspaper. So this is a difficulty in this paper, also because this paper contains international relation, and the weightage of the question that is asked in international relation keeps on changing. For example, there were certain years where actually no question was asked on IR, and then you keep on reading the international affairs related to current affairs, but the question that is asked is on some organization of United Nations. So the focus is completely different, and the question on United Nations which was asked in 2070s was of such general nature that people were not able to answer it very perfectly. So this is the problem with this paper. So let's see how we can eliminate these things. So let's begin uh, with the book list for this paper. Uh, okay. So the first topic is about Indian Constitution, the historical underpinnings, evolution, features, amendments. So it is basically related to polity. So the best book for tackling this paper is obviously Lakshmikant Polity. Uh, I would just tell you the books that are available in the market in which these topics are given. It is up to you to choose one of these books, and I will also tell you from my perspective which is the best book. So Indian Polity of M. Lakshmikant, because of its utility for prelims as well. So this is a very good book. So please try to read this book as many time as possible, because one, you can tackle the 10 to 12 10 to 12 questions that comes in prelims from this book, and also it is very beneficial for up to 50 to 70 marks in the mains paper. So a lot of people have the habit of taking Lakshmikant lightly. So they will study it for prelims, and then they would not revise it for mains. Your preparation of M. Lakshmikant should be such that you revise it again and again. So when you are reading it for your mains preparation, you will be able to cover entire Lakshmikant in one day, even if you're not making notes. So that should be the level of your preparation when you are reading this book. So revise it again and again. So when you revise a book again and again, for example, the Parliament chapter which is given in M. Lakshmikant is a very lengthy chapter. So if you are revising that chapter again and again, so 80-90 pages you are able to study in 1 or 2 hours, if that is your 11th or 12th revision. So my intention is to communicate the importance of revising Lakshmikant again and again, because other than that there is no solution, there is no shortcut. All right. The other book that is available in the market is DD Basu for building concepts for prelims as well as mains also. DD Basu is a very good book. Language is little tough, but the concepts that are built through this book is very nice. So yes, I have read DD Basu, but if you are reading M. Lakshmikant, there is no need to read DD Basu. So already in my video in which I shared the reasons of my failure, so in that I told you that I used to read a lot of resources. The benefit here is that now when I'm telling you that I have read all the resources, so I know what kind of concept is given in which kind of book, so I can communicate to you so that you don't have to do the double work. All right. So DD Basu is a very good book if you want to academically or scholarly build concepts. But other than that, DD Basu is not that relevant. You can find everything that is given in DD Basu in Indian polity also. I find that my concepts that were built through DD Basu were good, but then if I look back, then Lakshmikant would have worked the same if I had revised it multiple times. So other than my first attempt, I dropped reading DD Basu, and I completely focused on M. Lakshmikant. There is also one book which is known as Fadia and Fadia, which is basically read by political science optional aspirants. So this book is good, but this book is very voluminous. There is a lot of stuff that is given. The book is not given in point format. So this book is not very essential for GS paper 2. It would be definitely, it would be an overkill. So I would advise not to read this book. Okay. I would also advise to not go for DD Basu if you are not a very avid reader. You don't read books very fast. So I would advise you not to go for DD Basu. Stick to M. Lakshmikant. All right. Also, I would not prefer to read any coaching material on polity. Why? Because the concepts that are given in Lakshmikant should be read as it is. The one is the bare act that you read for your prelims when you want to answer MCQs. But then, other than that, M. Lakshmikant is the best interpretation that can be given of the Constitution for competitive examination. So you should stick to this book. Other than this, what GS paper 2 of Sunya books does is that the concepts are given in a question and answer point format. So how to write the concepts that you learn from M. Lakshmikant are given in this book. I really find the GS2 book very nice. In GS2 Sunya books very nice. It is very good book. Okay, so when you have read, you have made your concepts, then finally you can put it in structure to Sonia's books. So I think if you are working for 1 year or 2 year on main syllabus, so anything you will do to shorten it, so it will look like mains, Sunya mains notes. So I think in this topic you don't need to make notes. You just have to read again and again. So choose this book and also refer to this book. So both the books, when you combine and you read again and again, so then you will be able to answer the mains question very nicely. All right. Let's move on to our next topic. See, the next topic, the first topic was related to the historical underpinnings of Indian constitutions, and again the constitution part is here continuing. So the topic is about the function and responsibilities of union and states. All right. So about the functions and responsibilities of union and states, and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolution of power and finances to local level, and challenges therein. All right. So again, the polity part of these topics, which is related to what is given in the constitutions, is given in this book. Other than that, what are the issues and challenges are not given in these books. All right, it is given in this book, and also any material which highlights the issues and challenges related to federal structures is given in ARC. So there is an ARC report, but you cannot read all of the ARC reports. It would definitely be an overkill. So the summary is needed. Now summary is available here and there, so you would have to search the internet for the summary. I will try to build and put all the information, all the topics and their short notes on a website. I am trying to do that. So I would definitely post ARC summary on that website in the coming time. But till then, if you are studying, you have to manage. You have to search the summary on the internet and then you have to read. And finances, devolution of powers and finances up to local level. So Yojana, time to time, the Yojana magazine that comes from the publication division of India. So that magazine time to time covers the issues of panchayats and the finances up to the local level. So you can refer to the Yojana issue. So when you are reading for a entire year, so make time for reading Yojana for 1 day or 2 day. So that way you can definitely add some more points that are there in the current affairs. Also, newspaper reading for this is also important. So whenever if a general question is asked about the issues related to the federal structure, so always there is some or the other problem that is going between the center or the states. All right. So that topic you can take it out and you can point it as out as an example. Or if that current affair topic is totally asked wholly in the examination, then it is okay. So current affairs have to be read in this part, and you have to supplement your basic knowledge with the current affairs. All right, so this was for this topic. Let's move on to the next topic. Separation of power between various organs, dispute redressal mechanism and institution. So separation of powers between various organs. So the question related to CAG, election commission, judiciary, executive, parliament, everything has been asked in the examination. And so for basic of these topics, the book list remains the same. It is the Indian polity of M. Lakshmikant. DD Vasu you don't have to refer. Fadia, it is given in these books. For example, if you try to read Election Commission, you will find a good 20-30 page essay in this book. But then how much time you have to read that book? So again, I would like to say that these topics can be read from SUNY books. So you can definitely build the basic understanding from this book, and then you can take newspaper and current affairs, supplement it there. All right. So next topic, let's go for the next topic. Again, comparison of Indian constitutional scheme with that of other countries. So for this topic, you don't even need GS to Sunya. Every question that has been asked in the examination, in the mains examination up till now, can be definitely tackled from M. Lakshmikant. So let's see what kind of question have been asked from this topic. So the question that have been asked was of judicial system in India and UK seems to be converging as well as diverging in recent times. So you know already that the Westminster Parliament system we have adapted from the UK, and then with some of the exceptions. So our judiciary and judicial system, the basic Supreme Court idea, we take it from the US Constitution. All right, and who is supreme? For example, in UK the parliament is supreme, है ना? But in India there is a separation of power and there is always a tussle between the judiciary, executive and parliament to make a balance. All right. So also the issue was there because related to the separation of powers as well as the balance between the three pillars of our democracy, and also sometimes the fourth pillar, the media, it is always there in the newspaper. So you always have a lot of thing to discuss and write in the examination from this. All right. Now you can see the next question. What can France learn from Indian constitution's approach to secularism? All right. So for me, these questions were not very difficult. Why? Because I was already reading secularism and communalism and these kinds of topics in very detail for my political science preparation. So I would not read separately. But if somebody is from non-political science optional or from background, so for him or her also, Indian polity in Lakshmikant can answer definitely every question from these topics. And Again, India and USA are two large democracies. Examine the basic tenets on which the two political systems are based. So these are the questions from the comparison of the constitution topic that is given in the syllabus. So this also you will see where the parliament has been explained in Lakshmikant. The table has been given and the features of the two democracies are given very nicely. So you can definitely analyze and make a very good answer based on this. So I remember that this was a 15-mark question, and I could write on and on because if you read and revise Lakshmikant, you will remember from that. All right. So this is how you can solve this topic. So see, Lakshmikant is till now, and also with the support from the Soon book, it is till now balancing our this part preparation. There are many topics. All right. So let's see what is the next topic. Again, the parliament, state legislature, structure, functioning, conduct, power and privileges. So all these questions, if you want to write in the examination, see, these are the basic static questions. Sometimes there is an always an issue, for example, regarding privileges. There is every time there is a controversy in the parliament, so the issues arise. All right. So these kind of issues go on. So you can supplement your Lakshmikant with the newspaper, or at most you can take support from this book. These two are not required, although this book details everything, but I would not say if you are a non-political science aspirant, then you go for this book. All right. So let's move on to the next topic. So you can see what the question was asked was, under what circumstances can the financial emergency be proclaimed by the President of India, and what consequences follow when such a declaration remains in force. So financial emergency is given all right in the Lakshmikant book, and what consequences follow when such a declaration remains in force. So the entire answer can be answered from Lakshmikant polity book. So when I came out of the examination hall and this question came, so everybody was saying that a very little part is given, because there is a half and 1.5 page that is being given in Lakshmikant of financial emergency. So people were saying that how can we make a 15-mark answer from this, or a 10-mark answer from this? But if you read it again and again, you will remember each and every point related to this emergency. So for example, if any amendment had happened and you can relate it from there, so you will be able to fill the entire pages if you read it again and again, even though the topic is given in very short. All right. So for answering a 20-mark question, it is not always necessary that you have to read 20 or 30 pages for every topic. You just read what is given in the book again and again, you will be able to answer the question. So this is what I was showing, that the basics had to be covered from this book. So 70-80 marks you can easily make it, the questions can be easily attended from Lakshmikant. All right. Now, now our next topic is the structure, organization, functioning of executive, judiciary, ministries, and departments of the government, pressure groups, formal and informal, and their role into the polity. So it is definitely not given in DD Basu. Indian polity new editions definitely covers pressure groups, formal and informal associations. Everything has been covered. Ministries and department of government has also been covered, but uh, it is very basic, and the questions that are asked are related to current affairs. All right. So do keep an eye on current affairs, GS paper 2 and also GS paper 3. Both the papers that are related to polity, and GS paper 3 contains multiple topics. So these are mostly current affairs based papers. Sometimes to surprise the candidates, the question are being completely given from the static part, so they know that whenever a trend is there, that question are majorly asked from the current affairs, so suddenly they will change the pattern and they will completely through static questions, and the student will not be revising that much. So do keep your static portion very strong. Current affairs are the method of preparing current affairs is that you have to read it consistently for 2 to 3 hours in a day. All right, so that will automatically prepare you for current affairs. You can't do current affairs in a period of 20 or 30 days. You won't be able to absorb so much. All right, so there is a method to this preparation, so follow that. And definitely structure, organization of executive and judiciary is given in Fadia and Padia, but again it depends whether you have time or not. Soon your books tackle these topics very nicely. You have to keep supplementing it from the current affairs. All right, let's move on to the next topic. So appointment to various constitutional posts, power, function, responsibilities. So various constitutional posts that are there, their power. So for example, questions related to president have been already asked. So a question related to prime minister will be asked. All right. Governor, the role of governor is so controversial. All right. When the political party that is in power in a state and center are different, so these kinds of questions that are there in current affairs, so those are asked. So do supplement that from the static part. You need to remember some article that are related to the governor or some report. So already those things are mentioned in Lakshmikant, so you have to read it again and again, make some short notes if you can, and then you can answer these questions. Also Sonia covers these topics very nicely. So GS2 Sonia book is a very wholesome book. If you can read it again and again, you can definitely get good marks in the examination. All right. Then again, statutory, regulatory, and various causes judicial body are there. So statutory, regulatory, and quasi judicial bodies are all given in the Lakshmikant. So you can read it from there. Also, those bodies that are in news, you can supplement that from current affairs. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Government policies, intervention and for development in various sector issues surrounding of their design and implementation. So these topics cannot be answered from these books. Only book that can help here is this book, Sunia's book. So I'm not actually advertising Suni book. It was very beneficial for me. So when this book came, I was already in my fifth attempt of my preparation, but and I had read a lot for these topics, but I really find these notes very helpful. That's why I'm recommending this for you, because if you don't have your own notes, all right, so these books are very good, but if you're making your own notes, then it is always a plus point. So government policies intervention for development in various sectors. So obviously this topic is totally current affairs based. Also you can read Yojana, and if you have time, you can follow for some rural initiatives Kurukshetra also, and that can help you in the examination. All right. And this topic is the topic that needs too much mehnat. All right, because you have to follow current affairs. So for example, aspirational district program was asked in that. So you have to remember that what are the key pillars of the programs, where it has been started. All right, and what are the criterias for the program, how will the inspection be done. So that is about current affairs. All right, let's move on to the next question. Development process and development industry role of NGOs, SHGs. All right, so this is about non-governmental institutions. So definitely GS2 of mains, these topics will not be there in these books. Some pressure groups and these things are given in polity, but other than that it is not given. These two books are not relevant for this preparation, and you can find these topic here. So also there are various issues that are related to NGOs. For example, there were laws being made by the government about the financial reporting of the NGOs. So you can study it from there. SHG topic was there in our GS paper 1 also. So for SHG, you will find definitely some material here. Also, you can Google it from your own side. All right, and please take, whenever you are taking the newspaper subscription, please take archive subscription also, so that whenever you type a topic related to SHG, so you can find 2 or 3 editorial. So there you can summarize your material. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Welfare schemes of vulnerable section. So see, what happens is when we are reading schemes from the current affairs magazines, it is like just mugging up. So when we are reading about schemes from the newspaper, there is too much criticism about the scheme, and only the things that are seemingly or so-called bad in schemes are discussed in the newspaper. So a very critical perspective is built, but the answers that we write in exam are not does not provide us so much scope to write only criticism. So whenever you read Yojana, so whenever a scheme is launched and in Yojana it is explained in details, so you understand about the basics of the scheme very well. So schemes also have concepts. I have realized this when I read Yojana and Kurukshetra, and from that you can definitely write schemes and that are there for the vulnerable sections in a very good format. All right. So Yojana build these things. So again, I would say if you are see, the mains marking is very unpredictable. So sometimes mugging up also helps, but Yojana help building in concepts. So for that, if you, once you read Yojana, you are able to deliver the basic concepts and the basic perspective of the scheme very well. So for that, I would recommend reading Yojana if you have time. Other than that, I think in GS paper 2 Sunya book, the schemes that are very recent will not be given. They will be covering in some other format because it is also, I think, a current affairs based institution also. So they will be covering. So if you are reading it from any of the current affairs material is good. And also do keep following newspaper, but don't go overly for the criticism. Try to read the good points of the scheme also. Let's move on to the next topic. Issues relating to the development and management of social sectors, health, education, and human resources. So, the issues that are related to health, education, and human resources are discussed in newspaper very well. So, for example, too many questions about corona was asked in 2020 examination. So, definitely those issues were discussed in the newspaper and can be easily answered from there. Also, I think Indian Express has the balanced perspective. So what has to be done is that you can for example, there are too many criticism. All right. So don't write the criticism that are given in the newspaper directly in that format. You can use the criticism as a way forward that we can improve from this perspective, because this can be one of the drawback of the scheme. So the theme of your answer will become more positive. Okay, so when we'll start answer writing, we'll definitely see that. Let's move on to the next question. Issues relating to the poverty and hunger. All right, so poverty and hunger, that is there. So poverty and hunger are concepts of sociology. So again, I have recommended that please do discuss from those friends that have sociology optional, or try to read um, a section or two of IGNOU's sociology where poverty and hunger is there, so that you can get the basic concepts. Also, Yojana also discusses very well. For example, when Swachh Bharat scheme was there, so the ODF concept and the concept related to wash was discussed very nicely in this paper. So in this Yojana magazine, so I was able to build my concepts from there. So you can study it from there. All right. Let's see next question. So let us see what kind of question is in asked. So microfinance as an anti-poverty vaccine, they are saying, is aimed at asset creation and income security of the rural poor. So microfinance is discussed again and again in Yojana. So do get hold of some issues of Yojana. Old issues are there on the internet, and please analyze these topic and register the basic concepts in your mind. And see, SHG topic is very favorite. You have to prepare SHG topic. All right. Again, other question was there. The incident and intensity of poverty are more important in determining poverty based on income alone. All right. So multidimensional. So it is about multidimensional poverty index. Now, if you are reading NCRT, so in that where the poverty has been discussed, so its other factors and also Amrit Sen concept of capacity building has been discussed there. So if you are reading these quality articles in the newspaper, in the NCRT, in the Yojana, then you will be able to answer these questions very nicely. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Important aspects of governance, accountability, e-governance, and all these topics: citizens charter, transparency and accountability, institutional and other matters. So there is one book that is there of M. Lakshmikant, Governance India. I have glanced at this book and I did not find it of much use from my perspective. Why? Because the policies and some of the things are given in point format. Other than that, no concept building is there. Second ARC reports is totally relevant to this thing. So if you are reading second ARC reports, at least summary, you will be able to answer the questions related to governance, transparency, and accountability very nicely. E-governance report is the, I think the ARC's first report is application and models. All right, and are discussed in that report. Citizens Charter is again a report of second ARC. So you need to get hold of those summaries of second ARC reports. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Role of civil services in a democracy is also given in second ARC report. All right. So you have to read it from here. Also, Soon's books. I have read the article of the role of civil service in democracy. You can get it the basic points from there. But the thing is that when the Soon's book came in the market in I think 2021, so then that time that books were new, but now because it is like becoming a guide, or in Hindi we say a kunji for the UPSC examination. So everybody will be writing the same points. So do write the basic points that are given in that book, but try to make some extra effort on these topics, because these topics will be able to fetch good marks. Also, there are various e-governance initiatives that are already there. So there are Digital India program, and there are 9 pillars of that program. So do read those topics nicely. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Um, so the next topic is about international affairs. See, if you want to build your basics about international affairs, so you can read it from PT 365, from mains 365 material that is given, that is of Vision IAS, and also the current affairs had to be followed. So from newspaper you can read it. If you want to do some concept building, then there is a Shashi Tharoor book, Pax Indica, that you can read. But this book is a little bit of leisurely reading. It cannot be said to as a textbook for UPSC. Other than that, I don't find very good books on international relations. See, what happens is when you are doing political science, you have to quote a lot of thinkers. All right, so there is Sumit Ganguly for international affairs. All right, there is Harsh V. Pant. So you quote these types of people. There is C. Rajamohan articles are there. So for political science, you prepared like these. And there are various books, those are coming in the market. But when you are reading for GS paper, so you need to have the basic concepts. So those basic concepts that are there, uh, uh, that are given in mains 365 book. So the mains 365 over the years when it comes, so I think I see it is summarizing the timeline and the chronicles of the relationship between India and Bangladesh, India and Pakistan very nicely. So from, because when you are writing the introduction, so whatever you know historically about that topic, you can write it there. All right. So this is how you manage your answers. Let's move on to the next topic. Bilateral, regional, and global groupings and agreements involving. So, see, bilateral, regional, and global groupings. So, these topics are recurring always in the current affairs. For example, G20 is there, SEO is there, MTCR, Wassenaar Agreement, Australia Group. So, these kind of topic are also the NPT, the NSG. So, these kinds of topics are recurring in the examination, because these are the issues that India is going through. Also UN and for example the UN Democracy Fund is there. So India and US are again trying to revitalize it. All right, so these types of topic are occurring in current affairs again and again. So for example, if a question has been asked about G20, so whether it is useful or not, so the information that is given in Vision IAS mains or PT 365, that can be used as a basic material that can provide structure to your answers, and its criticism and its plus point will be discussed in the newspaper articles. So you can formulate a nice answer from there. So see, you will not get all the materials in a single place, but over the years, if over a year, if you're working, you will definitely have a lot of points to write. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Effects of policies, politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest in Indian diaspora. So questions from Indian diaspora have been asked. All right. So definitely diaspora part is not given very nicely in these books. We have to do our little research of our own. All right. So try to make 20 or 30 point notes by internet research. This is the only solution to it other than the Soon's notes. And do keep a keen eye on Indian diaspora whenever it is mentioned. So for example, if we are talking about Indian diaspora, so historically we can see from indentured labor to our IT workforce that is there in the USA, and the expatriate workers that are there in UAE and Middle Eastern countries. So try to read and at least break it into some sects, and then based on these you can build your own notes and write it down. So you need a little research on that. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. Also, I intend to provide notes on these less discussed topics and give my own notes. So for that I will be making a website and I will be posting there, so I will share the link with you all. The next topic is important international institution, agencies and fora and their structure and mandate. All right. So important for important international institution, UN has been asked. Sometimes in 2020, a question was asked which was very which was not very common. For example, I think some McBride Commission of UN was asked. So it was not very common knowledge, and we didn't find it very highlighted in the current affairs. So people left or somebody wrote about UN. All right. So, but for one question, you won't be searching the commissions that were that of UN. You will always rely on the current affairs that is happening, and do prepare UN, because UN, IMF, World Bank like institutions है ना, and from the climate sector sides you can prepare UNFCCC. So these kind of institutions that are regularly in the news have to be prepared. All right. um, so this is the end of all the topics we have discussed. So see, in GS paper 2 definitely a lot of research work of self is required. So do keep on scheduling the topics and making them a priority, so that you develop your own notes with time. And don't try to say that I'll do the GS paper 2 in 2 or 3 days or one night. This will not happen. You will have to consistently read these things, absorb the topic, research more, add the topics from the current affairs, and then your preparation will be done. So all the best for the preparation, and if you are listening till the end, thank you so much for having the patience. All the best for your examinations, and do subscribe to my channel. All right, so let's meet in the next video.